With YouTube attacking alternative media, please consider supporting the channel via Patreon for just $1 per month. Link below. You know, I've been in a relationship for over 9 years now. I have a daughter who was just born 2 months ago, and if I ever became single, would be utterly afraid of rejoining the dating scene. I used, websites like Craigslist and Match.com, and one time when I was drunk, eHarmony, in order to try to find a date. But now everything comes across as just a hookup app, especially Tinder. So if I became single, I would probably find myself cruising Tinder. But I'm a person who's in my mid-30s, so that would just be very odd to be like, what's going on? I'm a YouTube commentator. I'm 35 years old. Recently single, looking for I don't know what I'm looking for to Netflix and chill, but I mean like legitimately just hang out and watch Netflix. But it would be actually kind of stacked against me. And this is one of the reasons why Tinder was just recently sued, and the verdict came back saying Tinder cannot charge older users more for premium services. Saying here that Tinder can no longer charge higher rates to users aged 30 and over after a California court ruled on Monday that the practice was a form of age-based discrimination, which it is if they're charging people more for their age. Tinder Plus, a premium version of the free dating service app Tinder, violated state civil rights law by charging users who were aged 30 and over a $19.99 subscription fee, while at the same time charging users under the age of 30 only $9.99 or $14.99 for the same features. But according to a ruling handed down by the Second District Court of Appeal in Los Angeles, the pricing had been in place since its release in March 2015. Again, I started dating my girlfriend in 2008, so it's like 7 years before we even got into freaking Tinder territory. But that's insane to me, that you should charge the same amount of money, because you know what, people be single in their 30s and beyond. They be lonely. They be wanting to get a little bit of that loving. And I can see that maybe they felt that Tinder felt that they could charge people who were a little bit older more money because they're probably more desperate, and that would probably be a fair assessment, to be honest with you. I have friends who are single in their 30s, and it gets pretty bad sometimes because the dating pool is minimal, and you know they don't know how to go back out there again. You know, even though 30 is a new 20, depending on who you talk to, it's a crazy mixed up world. Especially now with these apps like Tinder and Bumble that are more or less just put out there for hookups. Now, plaintiff Alan Candelore filed the suit in February 2016, alleging that Tinder Plus's price differences violated the Unruh Civil Rights Act, which broadly outlaws discrimination based on sex, race, sexual orientation, and age, among other classes. Now, that particular Civil Rights Act was one of the same arguments used against the Alamo Drafthouse Theater in 2017 for its women-only screening of Wonder Woman. So it does apply in many different cases. According to the suit, Tinder's rationale for the price difference is reasonably based on market testing, showing that younger users are more budget constrained than older users and need a lower price to pull the trigger, which is true. People in their 20s clearly are going to be like, yeah, $10 for this is the thing. I don't want to spend more than $15. To most people, $15 tends to be the highest amount they'll spend on an impulse buy, right? And then after that, they might up it to 20. So you can understand where Tinder was coming from. I mean, business-wise, and just through testing and market testing, you can see the demographics are going to have more money to spend, right? So despite the reasoning, the practice still violated the act, according to Los Angeles County Superior Court Judge Brian Curry, who wrote the 3-0 ruling, which is true. Just because it makes sense from an economic perspective, and a cultural or societal perspective, maybe not cultural or societal, but an age perspective, or experience perspective, I should say. Ultimately, yeah, it's a load of crap. So no matter what Tinder's market research may have shown about the younger users' relative income and willingness to pay for the service as a group as compared to the older cohort, some individuals will not fit the mold. Some older consumers will be more budget constrained and less willing to pay than some of the younger group. Curry also stated, however, that a contradictory ruling does exist. A 2015 case in which a San Francisco luxury health club was allowed to give an age-based discount to 18 to 29-year-olds because their policy does not perpetuate any unpleasant stereotypes and benefits an age group that is often financially strapped. So that is interesting that they were able to do that then, but not to a gym, but not to a hookup app. I find that to be a bit odd. I agree with the ruling on the hookup app. I think the 2015 ruling is wrong. to be honest with you. It's unclear at this time if Tinder will take up the decision with the state Supreme Court. Neither Tinder nor its lawyer could be reached for comment. Al Rava, who represented the plaintiff, along with co-counsel Kim Krolowek, noted that the decision was a significant one with potentially thousands of potential class members. So it's, I think, possibly gearing up for a class action lawsuit against Tinder. That would be the next logical step in order to recoup some of the costs that these users had to pay out based upon age discrimination. Saying here, hopefully this decision will remind all dating apps and all businesses operating in California to do the right thing and simply treat all customers equally, no matter their customer's age, race, sex, religion, sexual orientation, citizenship, and other personal characteristics as protected by California's Unruh Civil Rights Act, which is true. So it's one of those things where, yeah, going out and doing this is not it's not the right way to be. I disagree that Tinder was doing it. I feel like it was definitely targeting an older user base that out of desperation, because of how we tend to view people, you could say, that are single in their 30s and 40s as kind of being spinsters, so to speak. And while that may be a little bit changed in this day and age, that mentality still applies, I think, in many, many, many cases. So I'm glad. And I hope that they do actually get a class action lawsuit and they do actually go after Tinder and they get their money, because they're overpaying for the same service. They're overpaying for the same access to the same features, and they're being charged more simply because they were born at a different date and didn't fit into the mold that Tinder determined was worthy of a cheaper rate. So yeah, it's a win for them single older folks who've got multiple cats. Good for you guys.